12, second day in a row we've been out here on the grass. Been pretty interesting. Obviously, it's a warm day out here today. Thought they pushed through it pretty well for the most part. We really talked about as a team training camp starting on Friday because all the classes and exams and all that stuff. I really don't count what we did for about a week and a half as training camp. It was kind of orientation. So we really started training camp Friday. If you would look at a two-a-day schedule, we'd probably be on Wednesday as far as practice. We would have 5 days of acclimation. Then we would start 2-a-days and 1-a-days alternating. So we'd be on about Wednesday, and today we're on Saturday. So we're a little bit ahead of schedule as far as the number of practices and the number of days. So, obviously I think the defense is ahead of the offense. There's so many guys that have played in games on defense that they should be ahead. So we gotta keep fighting. We'll have a scrimmage tomorrow morning, and we'll open that scrimmage up to the public to watch. So it'll be a good day tomorrow. It'll be the first actual chance we'll actually tackle and give our guys the opportunity to play without coaches standing there telling them what to do. A couple injury notes. Gabe Schrade was out. Now he's back. He had a calf strain, so he's back in practice. Not 100%. We're kind of keeping him from doing everything. Thurman Mobley has a foot sprain, but he's coming back faster than we thought. So I would say by next Wednesday, Thursday, he should be back 100%. And then one new one, Cedric Gambrell's got a concussion, so he's out and going through concussion protocol. So knock on wood, we've been pretty healthy through camp. Guys have practiced physical. Obviously, we got to get some work done on offense with some confidence and actually knowing what to do and how to do it. But I feel like the team is working well together.
Are the young guys? I think you had talked about that freshman around this time last week. You were talking about that freshman wall that's about to hit. Have they hit it, and how have they responded?
I think a bunch of them have hit it. I think they hit it today for sure. Today's a Saturday. It's probably 100 degrees out here. We've been on the field for 2.5 hours. They've got pretty much all the installation in, and they've probably seen every blitz. On offense, they've seen every blitz known to man. There isn't another blitz that Coach McCray could run. He'd have to have 14 guys to run it. So some of those guys, the quarterbacks, the offensive line, they've seen so much stuff that now they're calling for uncle. But tomorrow what we'll do is we'll trim down what we can call offensively, defensively, and let them go play. Tomorrow's about seeing them go play and let those guys go play and see if they can just limit what they have to know tomorrow and go play.
You were talking about Samuel Wadd last week about how he's a little banged up and he's been back all this week. How's he progressing? New guy, JUCO guy, getting in there at nose tackle.
I think Sammy's doing good. Sammy's, anytime you're not in our program for the entire length of time, you're going to be behind. If you're not with Aaron Burkhart all summer long, there's no way you could be ready to go and be what we want doing practice. So he's behind in that fashion as far as knowledge of the defense and with conditioning. So he's got to catch up conditioning first, and I think once he catches up conditioning-wise, hopefully that'll happen soon, then he can get the knowledge of the defense.
Defensive line as a whole, it seemed a lot deeper this year. You got some young guys, you got Kaven Patton out there. Right. And how are they kind of meshing? How are they all kind of coming together?
I think all those guys, the two guys obviously, or the two new guys are obviously Sammy and Savion. I think Savion and Sammy give us both good physical presence and size and nose. So I think those guys have done well. We moved Commandi Hines over to defensive end. He's not our typical guy we wanted defensive end size-wise. We'd like to have 250, 260 guy over there. He's about 235 right now, but he also gives us a third down pass rusher over there that we need dearly. So I think the D-line is coming along, understanding what we want. It's good when you can hire a guy that knows the scheme, like he's, been in it forever. So that all the nuances, Coach McCray doesn't have to teach Coach Mooring all the nuances. He knows them. So he can go coach exactly the way the technique needs to get done.
How do you think the freshman quarterbacks have responded? Especially in the absence of what they were probably expecting an older presence to be there with them competing for the starting job. How they responded to that, and how close do you think you are to having the guy?
Well, we're still a long way away from having the guy. What I do like is those guys come out and they work and they learn and they absorb, they make mistakes and they try to learn from those mistakes. So I've been really pleased with what they've done as far as that. Those guys have hit a little bit of a wall too. Again, they've seen every blitz known to man. The quarterback's going to see it as much as the offensive line because they got to be able to set protections and get us in the right play. But those guys for just getting out of high school and being here since June, I think have done remarkably well.
We got to talk to Coach Cooler and Coach Fleming this week, and he was talking about the wide receiver, saying it's the deepest position on offense. What have you seen from them? Deep group. You got some young guys, got some older guys.
Well, from a year ago, it's a much better room to be around. I like the talent level. I like the competitive spirit in that room. I like the fact that those guys care about the game. I really just feel like you talk about transformation. That room has been the piece of transformation for our team. If you want to look at what we had and what we have now, that's what we wanted to do in a year, is transform that. We got depth. Jeremiah Haydale, BJ Bedford. It's unbelievable. The talented guys that can run and can make plays down the field. Those guys have speed. You add Dennis Johnson in there that can run, guys with speed. Caleb Twyford in the slot. We've gained some guys that can run, that love the game, and also guys that are going to be good citizens in that room and care about each other.
Last week you were saying you're very excited to be around this team, bunch of young guys. Still feeling that excitement?
Yes.
Still?
No doubt. Love it being out here with these guys every day. The thing about it is you can get on them and, they'll respond. And it hurts them when you get on them. And to me that's important. If it doesn't bother you when a coach gets on you, then you got an issue. Okay, it's like your mom and dad. If you just blow your mom and dad off, then what are you going to be when you're 21, 22, 23? So I think these guys care about what's being taught, what's being said, and what's being demanded, and that's why I like being around them. If you're around our building during the down times, that's when you can tell this is such a different group than last year. They eat together, they laugh together, they sleep together. You can go around this building at any point in time and see two guys sleeping on an air mattress together in the building, all over the building, sleeping on the head coach's couch, in my office and laying on the floor, that kind of stuff. So we've got a different group of guys, I think, and that's what I like about this group.
What kind of leadership qualities are you seeing out of the veteran players so far in camp?
Pretty good. We've got to continue to grow that. There's some guys that, every day it's a maturation and a teaching process to teach them how to lead. Tristan Miserak, trying to teach him how to be a leader. When all he's been here is somebody that's been watching other guys do it. Now he's got to do it. So it's important. Guys like Aaron Brewer. Aaron Brewer's a sophomore, but he's got to be a leader on our football team. There's no age limit to leadership, and that's what we tell our guys. So, the guys that are natural, the Brian Londons, the Gabe Lloyds, the Easy Anyamas, those guys, it's natural to them because they've got that something about them, that it about them that, leading is what they do. So we got to grow some guys on offense a little bit more as far as leadership.
Coach, a year ago you brought the phrase, the sound of practice. You brought that phrase out here. Do you like the way practice sounds right now?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I like the way, I like the fact that, there's not a whole bunch of walking around. There's guys going and, we're getting stuff done and that's the way it should be. Practice should be like organized chaos. That's what it should be. It should be organized chaos. You should be out here. It should be, guys running around, flying around. We try to stay off the ground, but there'll be a guy on the ground every now and then. We move from drill to drill. It just ought to be that way. And what happens is once you get used to that, you get in the game and the game slows down for you. And that's our objective, is to make practice so chaotic and hard for our players that when they get in the game slows down for them and they can go enjoy it and have fun.
When do you start working on the opener?
We probably still have another 5 or 6 practices before we will. We got to get through this scrimmage Sunday and through about Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and then we'll start.
Idealistically, what do you want to see tomorrow in the scrimmage from your guys?
Toughness and competitive spirit. That's all we're grading tomorrow. There's no technique, responsibility grade tomorrow. There's a did he take the ref in a tough manner, and did he compete? Did he have competitive spirit when he competed on that rep?